So today's video is going to be a little bit different because I am in Milan and it was Fashion Week, so I just want to show you a recap of my week and what it's like being here during one of the most popular times for fashion in Europe. So come along with me on this journey to see what I was up to in my old town. So of course I had to stop and get a coffee once I got to the airport, and I was there super early, so I was just waiting, watching planes take off and just people watching, and of course there was people playing soccer in the airport. So I took Swiss Airlines, and I have to say the flight was not bad. At least I had a TV, a banana, and not much leg space, but it was definitely a beautiful view having the window seat, and before I knew it, after one stop, I was finally in Milan and ready to get on with my trip. So after being grumpy and food deprived on my end, we finally made it to this really nice restaurant in Brera called Albaretto. And the food was delicious. You can just see our faces and our reaction, and it was definitely a place to go back to. For seating, we had the chef's table, so we saw them prepare everything fresh, like this tuna tartare and this cannellone that was filled with some sort of fish and cheese. It was absolutely delicious. Cutting into it, it was just a dream. And then for our main, we had spaghetti alle vongole e botarga, which is basically a clam pasta with this really delicious stuff on top. I'm not sure what it is or what the translation is, but all that matters is that it was delicious. So if you're here in Milan at this restaurant, you definitely need to try it. And then of course, when in Italy, you can never skip dessert, so we went for the classic tiramisu, a 10 out of 10. For the very first show, it took place at Palazzo Visconti, and I waited for Helen to arrive, and then once she arrived, we had our cute little reunion, and then we were ready to go in and see the show. Alright, take two. The first one, I didn't know what to say. I'm not used to vlogging, but I'm gonna have to start doing it. All my videos are informational, but today we're here for fun, right?
Yes.
So tell me where we are, what we're doing.
Milan Fashion Week.
So stay with us to see the rest. Adventures of an American and Milan Fashion Week. So this first fashion show was from an emerging fashion designer named Gianluca Albrandi, and his clothing was beautiful because it was very elegant and a bit avant-garde, but still very sellable and wearable for the modern day woman. So after the show, I mean, it was beautiful. They had a live opera singer singing. I didn't even realize that it was a real person until the end, and when she came out, it was just an overall really well done fashion show with great pieces of clothing and an overall great first show experience. And then right after, of course, since this was in fact a palace, we had to get some content, so we spent about like 30 to 35 minutes just having fun and creating reels, which if you guys follow me on Instagram at concepthree, I'm sure you've seen some of them. And then after we were done and satisfied with our content, we headed out to Duomo to explore and see where the night took us.
I know you love dogs. Give me the bag.
All right.
The ugly bag.
Is it killing the look, killing the vibe?
So okay. Tell me something.
So we just finished at the fashion show, so now we're gonna go find a place for aperitivo, which for those of you who don't know, it's like a happy hour, but Italian style, and essentially they give you a drink, and along with the drink, they give you food. So, you know, I love to eat, so this is my favorite type of happy hour.
She's a foodie.
So we're gonna find a cool place, maybe with a view, with a vibe, a little bit of music, you know, shake something, and see what else is gonna go on for the night. So yeah, follow us.
Let's see some shaking. Come on. You said shake some.
One second. There's some people watching.
You don't have to be shy. You're a YouTuber. Come on. Shake it.
All right. So as we continued our hunt for aperitivo, we walked around the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele, which is a beautiful, very classy, traditional area of the Duomo, where you have all the luxury shops like Prada, Gucci, whatever. And we just made our way to the very cute neighborhood of Brera, where we were in search of something good to eat. And of course, we ended up stopping at this really beautiful fountain to get some more content and take some pictures. And then after we were satisfied with our clips, we found a restaurant and actually ended up eating instead of doing aperitivo because, as always, my appetite was raging.
Alright guys, so I am up very late today. I slept till 10. I didn't get to bed yesterday until 1. And with the time difference, it's literally 6 hours earlier than Milan time now, which is around 12. So I am exhausted and starving, so I'm heading down to Duomo, to the center where all the shopping is. And number 1, I'm gonna have lunch. And number 2, I'm gonna go and do a little bit of shopping and see where else the day takes me. If there's some cool spots to shoot at, I'll do that as well. So yeah, I'll show you guys what I'm about to do, and I hope you find it interesting.
So I basically took the metro and made my way back to Brera, which has a lot of really great restaurants, and I wanted to go to Osteria da Fortunata because last night they were very full, so we were not able to eat there, and got myself a nice glass of wine and a carbonara, which is not typical of Milan, but you know, I was in the mood. And then finally, when everything was here, I had a moment to just really enjoy food and eat by myself, which is not a typical thing here. But you know what? Who cares? If I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. And if I'm by myself and people stare at me, they just have to deal with it. So being such a beautiful neighborhood to walk through, I went and saw a few different sites and strolled before stumbling upon a Fashion Week exhibition by Gucci. And inside there were a lot of interesting text on the wall, different books to read, and just, you know, something interesting to do during the day. And it was free, so that's one other positive thing about Fashion Week. There's a lot of exhibition and things you can go just walk into and learn something about fashion. After the exhibition, I was then on my way to do a little bit of shopping at the Rinascente, which is basically like a department store, and I was able to find some things I liked, but nothing that I was really convinced about getting. So I went to one of my favorite stores, which is Sandro, and I tried on a lot of stuff, and among the stuff I got, these shorts were one of them, and the sales lady was very helpful, and I was able to get quite a few really nice pieces to take home. And I'm sorry for the abuse to my credit card, but I will make it up and, you know, just make more money. So I went along my merry way with my Sandro items, and I took a walk through one of Milan's most premier shopping neighborhoods, which is Monte Napoleone. Of course, I can't afford anything there yet, but it was nice to just window shop a little bit and see a less crowded area of the center. Okay, so shopping was for sure a success. Spent a little bit of my coins, but hey, you can always come back. So another day in Italy and another day to eat. So I headed to the center and went to a pasticceria called Marchesi, and I had myself a cappuccino and 3 little pastries, which were absolutely delicious. I had this strawberry cream tart and then another one with chocolate powder on top with cream in the middle, and I was able to enjoy the beautiful view of the Galleria while enjoying my breakfast. Then I had a few more things on my list that I wanted to get, so I headed to And Other Stories, which is a place where I shop at a lot, but unfortunately they don't have many locations in the US, so I had to take advantage. So essentially, I tried out a few different tops and items, but at the end of the shopping trip, I didn't really see anything I liked, so I went for essentials, which were 3 belts, which I actually really needed, and I was able to go home with all 3 of them. Before I knew it, it was time to eat again, so I headed over to a familiar spot for lunch, which is called Sorbillo, and they make a really amazing fried pizza. Not the healthiest choice, but definitely a delicious one. And I ordered myself a completo al salame, which is basically like a calzone filled with cheese, salami, and tomato sauce. When it comes out, it's super hot and delicious, but definitely on the heavier side, so 1 is enough for this trip.
Alright, so we are day 2, not day 2, my second show of Milan Fashion Week. Yeah, so it should be interesting. I think that it's going to be a bit more on the fun side, more experimentational, so yeah.
So now on my way to the show of the night, I was heading towards Parco Sempione for a fashion show at Palazzo Appiani. And this was an absolute ideal location for a show because it's super central and not to mention very beautiful.
Say hi! Oh, look at the fit. Okay. So,
You look so pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, so chic.
So I just had to get a little coffee break because I was dying.
And she's a foodie.
And if you want a sip, you can have one. We're here, show number 2. And yeah, we had a little bit of issue finding the gate, but we found it at the end. A lot of mosquitoes and bugs here. Wasn't really fun for me, but I made it. So you'll see shortly as we go into the show. It's going to be a bit more experimental. I don't know. Anyways, experimental. My English is going. I've only been here a few days.
It's Italian.
Yeah, the designer is Latina or Spanish. I don't.
We made it. We didn't fall asleep. We didn't fall asleep. Go dance.
Who's excited?
I am. about a night out. That'd be good. And after getting rejected from the initial club we wanted to go to, we made it to just Kawaii, pushed our way into the line and got drinks, and it was super packed. The artist Lotto was actually there performing live, so that's probably the reason why. Not too sure how many people know about her in Italy, but she was there. Didn't happen to see her, but either way, it was a very fun night. We danced as much as we could with the limited space we had, and I busted out some of my old moves from from the girl times, from when I was in my early 20s, still in my 20s, but almost leaving that department. So yeah, we left pretty late for what we're used to, but I think it's fine to do every once in a while. So despite going to bed at 3 a.m., we managed to wake up and make it to another fashion event, and this was a fashion presentation showcasing various brands with live models walking throughout the palace. It was super cool. They had anything from evening gowns to purses to accessories, and we just had a great time again, meeting people and creating content.
I hope I was able to give you guys an idea on what Fashion Week is like in Milan from a very humble point of view, because we weren't at like the big shows, but we managed to get into a few of them, so I think that's what counts. And next year we will be back for some of the bigger shows and hopefully continue this tradition of me being here for Fashion Week. Yay! Alright, bye guys. Alright, what are we up to next?
Next, food.
Food.
See, she likes that. Then take some shots and videos. Some content.
And then, knowing that we were about to eat, I started with my happy dance, and you can see here that I was so ready to munch on something. So we went to Corso Sempione and we had an aperitivo. It's the best area in Milan for aperitivo in my opinion. And then we took some content by the Arc here and just took it easy and finished off our day. So here is a snapshot into what Milan Fashion Week is like from my point of view. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for part 2 of my Milan vlog where I show you so much more into my life.